Hey guys, it's Melanie. Happy Wednesday. So today I'm going to be doing a microblading update video. I recently posted a picture on Instagram and gave you guys just a little bit of a brief update on how my brows have been over the last couple of months since they fully healed, and how much fading has occurred and that kind of stuff. So that's what I'm going to be chatting about in today's video. You will notice that my brows probably look significantly different because I went ahead and I did not do my brows at all today. So what you are seeing right now is what my brows look like without any powder on top of the microblading, which is what you guys see in most of my videos. Is I do add powder on top. And at the end of this video, I will very quickly show you how easy it is for me to put the powder on and to just go. I do prefer a much darker, more defined look. So I do feel like most days when I wear makeup, I do have to put some powder on in order to feel like I really like the look of my brows. When I'm not wearing makeup, however, these are what my brows look like, and I think they look fine when I'm not wearing makeup. You know, on the weekends, if I'm going to the gym or something, I don't put anything on at all except for my Paula's Choice SPF. And they look perfectly acceptable without any makeup on my face. But if you'll notice with, you know, the eyeshadow, the mascara, everything else, they do look a lot lighter. So let's talk about changes that I've noticed in my brows. First off, I have extremely oily skin. So I knew when I got this done for the first time back at the end of October that there was a strong likelihood that it was not going to last a full year. Typically with microblading, most people who have either dry or normal or maybe combination skin, they can get a full year out of their microblading before they need a touch-up. I will also link my videos during the healing process down below as well, so if you missed any of those, I will have those linked. But anyway, so I knew with my skin type that it was going to be highly unlikely that this would last a year, and I'm finding that that is definitely the case. There's a lot of fading that has happened. So my first go around, I did have the hair strokes put in, and that was at the end of October. And right before Thanksgiving, I went in for my touch-up, and I just had her powder fill, basically, what she called more of like an ombre brow, because I wasn't happy with the hair strokes. The hair strokes basically just didn't stay at all. And I knew that I was gonna fill in my brows anyway, so there was no point in adding more hair strokes that would probably just blow out or fade away. So I was like, just, you know, I paid a little bit extra and I had her fill them in completely. So the healing process after that took a few weeks, and I was very happy for the next few weeks after that. My brows looked amazing. They were still very dark. I needed very little powder, but I still powdered them in a little bit because there were still a couple of areas that didn't take. And those areas are even significantly lighter now. So basically what I'm saying is that less than, let's say, so I would say after I did the second fill around Thanksgiving, I'm gonna consider that like when my brows were quote unquote finished, because the touch-up appointment really is necessary. So I was healed, mostly healed by like say middle of December. So let's say I've gotten December to January, January to February. So let's say I'm 2 solid months in at this point and I'm already noticing fading. So that sucks. But I knew that that would probably happen. Now there is still enough pigment left underneath my skin here to where it's still very easy for me to add the powder in. I have my outline, and I feel like I'm gonna have the outline probably for a number of months. But I probably will get to the point in a couple months where I won't feel as comfortable going without the brow powder when I'm not wearing makeup, if that makes sense, because I feel like they will be faded by that time to a point where I'm gonna want to like start filling them in even on no makeup days again. So after all of that, was it still worth the $600+ to have it done? I think it was, because it has definitely made my life easier. And if it continues to stick around long enough for me to see the outline and be able to easily fill my brows in with just a quick swipe of the powder, then that was worth it to me. However, I'm gonna be honest, I don't think that I'm going to have my brows touched up in the fall this year. Most of you guys who have been with me for the last like month or so know that Craig and I just bought a new house. It's a very large house. We have a lot of expenses coming up in terms of needing to fill that new house with furniture. You know, I want to have some rooms painted. I'm basically not going to be focusing as much on buying makeup or doing beauty treatments for the next year, because I would like to get my home set up. You know, there's a lot of visions that I have, and they're probably kind of expensive visions. So I'm not really gonna have another $600+ laying around just to go get my brows done again in October. I just can't justify it this year. I'll probably have it done again next year though. Once we're done sort of furnishing our house and I'm back to, you know, having a little bit of extra money laying around again, I would definitely do it again. This year it's just a matter of probably not wanting to budget specifically for that. I'd rather buy a new dining table than have my brows done. I can put on my brows. I mean, I've been putting on my brows since I was in high school, so not a big deal. I'll just go back to doing that for a little bit longer, and then next year, probably for my 41st birthday, I'll go ahead and have them done again, and we'll probably maintain them after that, unless, you know, of course, we decide to have some other big, like, expense in our lives, you know, that would necessitate me, like, taking money out of, like, my beauty budget stuff. So, I do still think it was worth it. I'm still happy with them. I'm not happy with how quickly they're fading, but I also knew that that was a risk. So I would say if you have extremely oily skin and you know you're going to be irritated that the fading is going to be significant after the first few months, I wouldn't do this. You know, you could probably look into more permanent tattooing, and I don't really have an aversion to getting like a more permanent tattoo, with the exception of I just don't know that it would look good long term. I know that a lot of facial tattoos can change colors significantly. You know, they can definitely bleed out a little bit, and I don't know that I want to take that risk. The microblading was super easy. You know, it is an ongoing expense, but at least I know that if at some point I decide that I don't want to do this anymore, I can just let it fade, and eventually it'll fade away completely. With a permanent tattoo, that's a little bit more difficult. Sometimes you actually have to have them removed. You know, otherwise they just kind of fade away and just look like an old tattoo. And I don't know that I want an old looking tattoo on my face, if that makes sense. So for me, I'll probably end up sticking with the microblading, and if something better comes along in the next few years, then maybe I'll try that. But as of right now, I'm happy with the fact that I can still see the outline and that it's very simple for me to fill everything in. So still worth it. We'll still do it again. Just not gonna do it this year because there's other things I want to buy. So let me show you guys really quickly how I fill in my brows so that you can see how simple it is. I'll go ahead and just do this brow so that you can see the difference between the two. I don't want this video to be super long. So the brow powder that I use is the Tarte Amazonian Clay Volumizing Brow Powder. I did recently purchase some products from Anastasia that should be here in a few days that I'll do a tutorial with those as well. The only reason that I bought the Anastasia stuff is because I do believe that Tarte is doing away with this brow powder. I love this product. I do have a couple backups of it, but I do realize that eventually you guys aren't going to be able to get this, so I wanted to have an alternative. But I use the Smashbox number 12 brush. I will link both of these products down below. And basically all I do is take a little bit of the powder on here. This is a very stiff brush. And I start kind of at the bottom of my brows and just put a little bit of a defined line down here, and then I will take a little bit more and I'll just start filling in, following the outline that I have from the microblading. So this is usually very quick for me. It's kind of hard for me to be this far away from the mirror, but I want you guys to see what I'm doing, so. Normally I'm like right up in the mirror doing this, so. Grab a little bit of a Q-tip. I went a little bit outside the lines here, but. So it's really fast. It's something that I feel like helps the brows look just a little bit more polished every single day, but it's super fast, so that's it. I will take a brow brush and just gently brush through a little bit, but that's it. So you can see the difference between the two brows. It does make a big difference to put that little bit of brow powder on top, and I think it just sort of frames my face a little bit better. So very easy to fill in at this point, and I think it will be for another few months, but once the fading really starts, I'm gonna have to probably go back to using a pencil to help with the outline and then do the powder on top. It's not the end of the world. It's what I've been doing for years, so I'm not too heartbroken about it. But I thought I'd give you guys an update because I know a lot of you were curious. Let me know what your thoughts are. If you've had this done, what you think about it in terms of, was it worth it, especially if you have oily skin? Are you keeping up with it? Do you think it's worth it? I mean, it's expensive. It's not an inexpensive procedure, and it can be painful at times, you know, depending on the amount of numbing cream that you have put on and your pain level and, you know, how sensitive you are to stuff like that. So I don't know. I'm curious about your guys' thoughts, and yeah. So thank you so much for taking the time to watch. I'm gonna finish this brow and then go about my day. So thanks a lot for watching. Please subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.